Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have decided to record a video after a while to tackle the COVID-19 or any or related issues, particularly in the Eastern Cape. I had kept quiet throughout the anti-Dikwe trend, if I could call it a trend. I kept quiet, I maintained my silence for a number of reasons. Since Wagomba is a person I respect and I love very much personally. She is a friend of mine, and I decided that I must respect our friendship and probably keep quiet about that anti-Tigwe. And another reason is that I'm not an opportunist. I don't jump at any opportunity, that comes to attack a person. I don't believe that one thrives by attacking people. I believe in genuineness in my approach and so on. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about Sinswa Gomba as the MEC for the Department of Health. I think that Sinswa Gomba was thrown under the bus. She should have been probably sent to local government. I think she would have done well there because she has got a background. She has served as a councillor for many years. The Department of Health has been delegate. For example, one of the West MECs for health was Dr. Kyanki. Dr. Kyanki was a mayor in Mbashe. She failed dismally. In fact, she couldn't run her own medical practice, her surgery. She couldn't run it. It was a dismal failure, and I suspected that one of the reasons why she was appointed the MEC was to probably save her. I don't know, but she was the worst. I don't like the African National Congress. I will never like it. It's a very evil organization. It has nothing whatsoever to do what it claims, to have anything to do with. But I like to give credit where it's due. I think that the MEC now, the Eastern Cape Department of Health needs Kobana more than ever. Kobana is the best MEC that has ever run this provincial Department of Health. And I think that, if Kobana would come back, it would be better. Well, I don't expect that Mabuyane would know this, because Mabuyane, Mhlambi, let me talk about Mabuyane just a little bit. I want to sort of say to the people of this province who say Sinswa Gomba is useless and hopeless and all that. I want to say, be fair to Sinswa Gomba. First, how is Mabuyane? You can't expect that any of these MECs would be any better. The problem starts with the Premier. I don't want to talk much about Mabuyane because Mabuyane is not matured. He doesn't understand politics. He takes everything personal. The problem is that he's very factional and he's very immature, both as a person and as a leader. So I try to avoid talking about or rather critiquing or criticizing Mabuyane because of those reasons. And I criticize because something can be achieved out of that criticism. I criticize because I've got hope that if somebody hears this criticism, they can be able to take it as criticism and probably reflect on it and try to improve. Mabuyane is unable to do that. Is incapable of doing that. So I wouldn't even waste time and criticize Mabuyane, especially in a platform as public as this one. But I am now, with all my reservation to talk about Oscar Mabuyane, I want to talk about Gqobana. I wish that some sensible people in the ANC would at least call for the return of Gqobana. I think Gqobana is by far the best MEC for health that this province has ever had. Obviously, the problem is with the ANC, because the ANC is not dependent on a person in many times, because the actual problem lies with the ANC. So even if a person is good, he may not be able to perform that good in the ANC because of the fact that the ANC itself is a bad organization. However, I think that this time calls for Gqobana more than anyone else in this province. You need Celo Gqobana. Those who have got something here in the ANC, and those who are able to use it, those who are not thinking with their stomach but with their heads, probably they need to shout out to some of the leaders, because the problem with the leaders of the ANC, they are mostly controlled by their greed rather than what's happening. But sometimes when they are desperate, they do force themselves into pretending to care about the people. And we might be lucky that somebody talks to them about bringing Gqobana, save Sinswa Gomba from this mess. Take Sinswa Gomba to local government. I believe that she's not a dismal failure, but I think she's misplaced. Sinswa Gomba, I respect her as a human being. She's a very bold and strong woman. She is not scared of anything. She is fearless. I know her as a person, and I know that even in Buffalo City, she was one of those people in the ANC who debated. People don't know that in Buffalo City, there were actually 4 councillors who were able to debate there. It was Nozandile, Nhlola Mnwabisi Maoti, Saki Kaka, and Sindiswa Gomba. Oh, fine, you had also Unazo and the rest, but those were very robust debaters in the mean. So I believe that Sindiswa Gomba knows and is well experienced about local government, and she would do better at local government, not at the Department of Health. I think she is misplaced there. I once called her. I had the problem at Frey Hospital, and I called her. And I mean, with all due respect to her and with all honesty, my discussion with her actually drained me. It drained me. I could see that there was nothing that we were going to achieve, and instead of dealing with my problems, Sinswa Gomba told me a whole lot of other problems. And that's not what you expect from an MEC. You expect when you bring a problem from the MEC, the MEC immediately zooms into a solution. But we must commend Sinswa Gomba for one thing. Sinswa Gomba was smart enough to bring Mrs. Magwetini to act as a DDG for hospital services at a provincial level. Mrs. Magwetini is quite a very passionate and experienced leader in the health services sector, and as a woman, I believe that she's got the right qualities to at least turn around the situation at the Department of Health. However, it is bigger than Mrs. Magwetini, the problem at the Department of Health. I'll tell you one thing. There's a challenge with the Eastern Cape, in fact, with whole South Africa. Doctors who were trained to be in the doctors' rooms, they are in offices doing administration. We've got a shortage of doctors. I was at Frey today because there's a close relative of mine who was admitted there. There is no staff at Frey. There's a shortage of nurses. There's a shortage of doctors. There's a shortage of every staff. There's a shortage of equipment. There's a shortage of this and that. It worries me. We are in a state of disarray. The Department of Health in the province is in a state of disarray. People must expect that it's going to be worse because, the the nurses are having a lot of complaints, and my immediate sentiment is that the complaints of the nurses at Free Hospital are not genuine. They are informed and fueled by the factional divisions of the ANC. You must remember, union leaders of these unions that are linked to the ANC, they don't give a damn about the unions. They don't give a damn about the workers. They are using the unions to position themselves politically in the ANC to get deployments into strategic institutions of government through the ANC. When they don't get that, they will create an agitation. They will create a panic. They will use the workers to create a frustration in government, pretending to be fighting for the workers' rights. Once they are fine, the workers back knocking their doors, begging, and they are never attended to. They are met with empty promises, and their problems